Hey everybody, it's Sam Atari here, and welcome to a very interesting game. Uh, I'm trying to find the best way to actually explain this. So this is what is called Ion or Aeon. It just depends on how you want to pronounce it and whatnot. I used to say Aeon, now I call it Ion. This is another game created by NC Soft, obviously the people that brought you Guild Wars. And I remember when Ion was first coming out, I was really excited. They were like hyping it up, making it sound really awesome. And yeah, really, I waited for this game to come out. And when it did, I actually reserved it. They were advertising the game as being just like Guild Wars, so I was thinking, okay, this is cool. It's going to be a new free game, etc., etc., etc. Now, I wish I would have been able to show you the character creation process and the introduction to the actual game itself, but I couldn't. Also, it took me a while to. I couldn't do it because it wouldn't let me switch this into a window view so that I could actually record it for you guys. So I want to go over a few things real quick. I'm going to go ahead and just kill some things while I wait before I start taking quests or whatever. Whatever. So anyways, what I get? I got nothing. I hate it when that happens. So anyways, so when it comes to Ion, it's basically just like Guild Wars. You have a character creation process, which is basically just click on whatever you like. Obviously, it has more customization. It has more customization options than most games. I mean, most games by NC Soft, where you can, change the jawline and do this and do that and do the other thing. I'm trying to get away from all these people. The only problem I hate about like freaking new areas is that there's a lot of lag just because there's a lot of people. But they've added quite a lot since I actually started this game. I would have played on my actual account, but the thing is I can't log into it at the moment because I don't know why, but for some odd reason I either can't get the password right or I can't get the login right. I remember my Guild Wars got hacked a little while back, so I had a lot of issues with that. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain this to you without really messing things up. But basically in Ion there are different classes. I failed to gather it, damn. Okay, I'll go gather this one. So basically there are different classes in Ion, and they've added 2 new ones since you discovered Aldel Hill. But they've added 2 new ones. So basically, whenever you start Ion, they give you a choice. And you can either choose to be what's called an Elios or an Asmodean. And an Elios is basically someone who lives on the top half of the planet where the sun always shines, and they're basically your typical angels, blonde hair, blue-eyed, white wings, gorgeous creatures. Now, the Asmodeans, which is what I'm playing, are different. They're creatures that live on the dark side of the planet where the sun barely shines. Because of that, they have developed dark skin, glowing eyes, long fingernails, and this mane of hair that grows down the middle of their back. Your collection skill has been upgraded, yay! And I am now level 2, yay! Okay, so yeah. So I obviously chose to be an Asmodean. Asmodeans are my favorite to play just because they are kind of the outcasts. Everybody wants to be an Elios because they do look a lot better, and they tend to be stronger just because there's more of them in the game. So everybody wants to join the winning team. So I always choose to be an Asmodean. But anyways, after you choose what race you want to be, which is Asmodean or, Elios, then you get to choose your class. And the classes on here are really odd. Like I just said, they've added 2 new ones since I was on here. Damn you, Asfa. They have the warrior, which is, of course, you all know what the warrior is. It's just the default, which is balanced in heavy attacks and yada yada yada. And you can choose whether you want to be a defensive warrior or offensive warrior. The gathering skill on here is like all about chance. It's so weird. And then you have your scout, which is your ranger. Obviously, it uses bows. You can tame animals as companions. Like, that is basically a scout. and they use daggers as weapons, etc., etc., etc. Then you have the mage, which is your typical elementalist spellcaster. Obviously delving in dark magic and nothing more than that. So usually just things that have to do with fire and lightning and etc. Those types of things. And then you have the priest, which obviously deals in holy magic, deals in healing, is usually the healer on a team. And then the two new classes that they've actually added recently is the Technist, which is a gunslinger. They use magical weapons, so obviously in this case of Ion, it's aether cannons and pistols. And then they have the Muse, which I guess delves. It's more like a mesmer. They deal in illusions and the curses. They deal in illusions and curses, which I found really, really odd. So they never had a muse whenever I first started playing Ion. They just had the priest, the mage, the scout, and the warrior, which made choices very simple. And so since I've never played any of the newer classes, I actually chose to make a Technist this time, which is obviously the gunslinger. So we are a Asmodean Technist called Samutari, and I will be doing this Ion playthrough with this character. So after I'm done gathering this, we can go ahead and get our first skill. Like I said, I'm sorry you didn't get the introduction, but even if I had played it and gotten to record it, my computer really can't handle level up. My computer really cannot handle the graphics in this game for the videos if I'm recording. It's time to learn a new skill, which is funny because I haven't even started the first quest. So whenever you do something in the game, you get these little tip question mark thingies. This game is all here's your skill bar, which obviously I want. What is this? This is loot. Loot can go over here. And same with this. This is my bandages. All my healing stuff can go over here. This is going to be strictly for my attack. I know that auto attack is obviously there. Rest, whenever you lose HP, you have to sit down to rest. Change weapon, I don't really need that at the moment because I don't have any weapon to change to. And then this is your return to home, which I'm going to go ahead and put here. What is this though? Yeah, loot. The thing is looting is automatic, so I don't really need a button for it. And resting, that kind of counts the same as healing, so I'm just going to put it there. I'm just kind of, this is attack and chat. I don't need to, because all I have to do is double click to attack. They make it just so weird. So anyway, so these are all the different things. Select, integrate, whatever. They've changed a lot of things, so I'm kind of like looking at the new interface, and this is kind of new for me. But anyways, every time you do an action in the game, you get one of these little things where it teaches you how to do different things. Like interface. Basic information window, XP bar. So basically, it's sitting there showing you where everything is. But it's going to freeze like every time I try and play it, so I'm not going to sit there and listen to the voice. How to move. You know, and they teach you the simple stuff like how to move, how to chat, you know, basically how to talk to people. They teach you about combat, and each one has a little video. And they teach you about skills, and they teach you about looting the bodies of things. The thing is like every time an opponent falls, it looks like it has something that you can loot because it will show the blue aura or whatever floating off their body, but sometimes enemies will have nothing. I think that's what I really hated about all of this is that really you'd have nothing. So what do I have in my inventory? I have 20 bandages, I have 100 minor life elixirs. Okay, cool. And then I have 100 minor mana elixirs, which I'll put down there because I don't really use those. And I have Raiders Eat to speed healing. Okay. So I know that I got a lot of stuff because by joining you automatically get like all these nice little things, but this button takes you to the Black Cloud Marketplace, which you don't need because that's where you just buy stuff with real money. This tells you your location. Obviously, this is the main map. The white dots are all non-aggressive enemies, and they'll tell you what each one is if you click on it. Obviously, that's a Highlander Sparkle. This will take you to the menu here. This tells you that it's nighttime. And And really, this blue thing down here is your experience bar. This right here is what controls your flight time, but the thing is you don't gain wings until you're like level 10, something like that. Yeah, you don't gain like wings until you're like level 10. And obviously, if you haven't already seen me, I've been gathering these things called young asphas. Now, in this game, there's an actual gathering mechanic. It's not like Guild Wars where you sit there and you salvage everything to get like leathers and etc. etc. Like, you literally have to go out and gather iron and gather, gather copper and gather blah blah blah. And if your gathering skill's not high enough, then you can't pick it. Now, obviously, even if you have a really high gathering skill, sometimes, this is your success bar, this is your failure bar, sometimes you still fail to gather some things. Like that time, I automatically, I stopped gathering because it just, for some odd reason, the game wigged out on me, and I got an automatic failure. It happens. So, when you're gathering something new, chances are you're going to fail the first couple of times, and everything's going to be all hunky-dory from there on out. When you get a really high gathering skill, things like Asfa and etc. are going to be easy peasy for you to gather. So I apologize in advance that the game is really laggy. Obviously the graphics, as you can see, are much better than what you'd find in Guild Wars. Emotes and everything else are just out of this world compared to what Guild Wars was. But like I said, whenever I first got this game, they advertised it as being just like Guild Wars, so I thought it was going to be free. And so I reserved it for like $60 or whatever from GameStop. And then when I got it finally, it turned out that you had to pay $15 a month to play it. It was basically just like World of Warcraft. You had to pay $15 a month to play it. You got 30 days free by actually buying the game, but in order to get the 30 days free, you had to pay for an extra month, and I didn't do that until like a year after I got the game. And then a year after that, they came out with the fact that this game is now free to play. So now you can just download it and play it willy-nilly. Samutari, TM, are you alright? They put TM in your name because you're playing the free version or whatever, I guess. I don't know. Samutari, TM, are you alright? You look a bit on your feet. I saw you collapse. What happened to you? Did a sprig catch you napping? Did you slip? Are you sick? Don't slow us down, Samutari TM. We've got raiding to do. I'm fine. It was nothing. I'm glad you're okay. Quickly, Vandar wants to see you. He saw you on the ground a minute ago, so you have to hop to it. You don't want him thinking you were sleeping on the job. Hurry, he's waiting for you. I'll accept it. So, that's more like it. Vandar is standing over there, right by the milestone. Just keeps the path and hustle on over there. So I don't know what this bullshit with the TM is. That's never been in my name before. So I think it's something that has to do with the fact that this game is now truly free to play. I know that my other characters do not have TM in their name on my main account, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Hello, Vandar. Asvalumbra. Stinking Sprig, such a nuisance. Level 1 progress on your feet. Samutari TM, feeling better? I'm just gonna leave out the TM, that's so dumb. Surprised to see you on the ground. You look tougher than most of the raider wannabes we get around here. You were lucky you weren't in a hurry. I sent the others off to raise the sprig dwellers around here. It won't happen again. That's what I want to hear. Sure. That's what I want to hear. We need all the technists we can get our hands on, especially with these quotas of ours. So enough talk, there's work to be done. Okay. So basically, every time you get a new quest, it'll appear down here, and by checking it, oh shit, and then by checking it, it'll go into your little drop box, so that you can always keep track of what quests you need to do. Obviously, he has another quest for us, so we're gonna go ahead and click on that. Stinking Sprig, such a nuisance. Level 1 quest, a bloody task. You'll have seen the sprig workers around here. They grew braver as Asmodai paid them less attention. They're pack creatures, so as their numbers swell, so does their confidence. Just look around. The sprigs aren't exactly shy now, are they? Not exactly. I want you to join the other raiders and take them down a few notches, Samutari. Their huts are already burning. Put some bodies on the ground. That'll remind the sprigs that they may live in Ishalgan, but we own it. Okay, so we have to go kill the sprigs. Good, I knew you'd want to save face after passing out. Go on to the basin and kill 4 sprig workers. Return to me as soon as you're done. So basically, it's just like every other game. You basically start out with these really simple quests where you don't really have to do much of anything. And they're like, okay, you know, kill some of these, you know, kill like 4 of these, or 5 of these, or blah blah blah. Who's, like, killing all these things? I need to find some. Ugh. The only problem is like, this lag is killing me, though. No, I'm trying to get the one that's alive, thanks. Okay, there's one dead. Did I get anything from it? Some gold? Take all. The thing is there's obviously commands, like Guild Wars, where you can be like, okay, I understand that, you know, there's obviously commands where you can, like, click or press a button and target your nearest enemy, etc. But I don't really have time to look those up at the moment. I'm just kind of trying to get the basics down and see how this first video goes and see if I really want to continue it. The only problem is that, like I said, Ion has, ooh, a minor power shard. It's just Ion has such a different way of playing the game. Like, just between simple things like the gathering mechanic and everything else, like, it's all so different from games that I'm used to, and it takes so much out of my laptop that out of all the playthroughs I'm doing or will do in the future, like, this is just one of them where I really wish my computer would cooperate with me, but chances are it won't. So yeah. Okay, I tried to target him and that didn't work, and I'm basically just standing around like an idiot in this field of new people, trying to catch one that isn't running. Good luck with that. The only problem is you have all these people that sit there and grind their levels right at the beginning, and that's all fine and dandy, but... Okay, so I completed that quest. My life elixir, I'll take that. Okay, so obviously I completed that quest. I am going to harvest this Aspa. Now, I will say that this starting area is actually a lot different from the starting area that you start, like, whenever Ion was first released. They've obviously changed it with the new classes in place and all that. The quests that you did were practically the same, but at the same time, you know, with just killing a few here and killing a few there. But yeah, as far as the location and etc., all that has been changed. So I'm not really sure how I like this game. I already had beef with this game long before, because one, I wasn't really fond of playing it because you had to pay money, and I didn't really think it is a good game, but I never thought it was actually worth the money they wanted you to pay for it, and so I never played it. And then when it became free, I became more interested in it as I was waiting for Guild Wars 2 to be released. But even then, the game itself has such a weird mechanic to me. It feels like something that you would play with a controller, not something that you would play with a laptop or with a keyboard at that. So we finished the quest, and we're gonna go talk to Vandar. Back so soon, you don't look hurt. You finished the mission already? I've slain the Sprigs. A bloody task done well. You've fully recovered from your collapse. Here's your reward. Take it. No more falling to the ground. And I get 180 experience. But I'm already level 4, so the Sprig situation is well in hand now. Smell their burning huts. You seem to be back to full strength, and I don't need you here for the cleanup. Head over to Guhaitan's tent. Tell Guhaitan that the Sprigs are fleeing our wrath. Okay, good. Now hurry and meet with Guhaitan. Oh, and one more thing. Avoid mentioning your collapse, eh? It'll only make Asak and me look weak for waiting for you. Sure. Do-do-do. Okay. Get to Guhaitan's tent. Simply follow the path to the north. The camp is downhill at the northern bend, and hurry. If you report late to Guhaitan, you will also be consequence. I'll go now. So obviously, like, I could stay here and grind like I normally would in this situation, but it's one of those things where I'm not going to. Obviously, where I find things that I want to, if I find things that I want to salvage, I'll do so. The only reason I'm gathering as much Aspa now is because gathering and crafting will be really important later in the game. I learned this lesson the hard way on my main account. So, Because basically on my main account, like, I got to a point where I couldn't defeat any quests. I was pretty high level. I was a higher level than what I should have been, and I was still getting my ass kicked, because enemies, as you will find, are just really, really tough. And so, like, I was getting my ass kicked, and I couldn't understand why. And it turns out the reason why was because my armor and my weapon were still really low leveled, even though it was the best armor I had found thus far. So finding armor is one thing. I mean, you can find armor everywhere, but it's all going to be pretty low leveled. And so the key to success in this game is you really have to be able to make armor yourself. And I think that's what I don't like about the game, is the fact that it makes you rely so heavily on crafting. I don't know, I'm not really fond of crafting. I know that some people like to make their own armor and like to enhance it and stuff, but me myself, I'm just not into that stuff. Oh, and this game does have a fall mechanic, just so you know. So you can actually fall. We're looking for a tent. He said follow the path to the north, so we'll do that. But he said it went downhill, and it said it's going uphill, so we'll find someone eventually. Like I said, this area is a lot different from whenever I first started playing, and so I'm not really sure what they want me to do. This is just a player up here. No, it's Heroes here. He's a gatherer. He probably doesn't have anything for us, but I want to talk to him anyways. My knees are aching. That usually means it's going to rain. I'm very attuned to nature, you see. It speaks to me in strange ways. Strange indeed. Now, the Asmodai, going back to in-game lore and etc., the Asmodai are bloodthirsty creatures, whereas the Elios are supposed to be elegant and lovely. The Asmodai are pretty barbaric. They're all about crushing their enemies and all that fun stuff. So yeah, so basically if you ever like play this game, you'll catch on pretty quick that the Asmodai and the Elios pretty much hate each other, because the Elios consider themselves the true creatures of Aion, whereas the Asmodai are just like, fuck you, we're just as good as you, we're actually probably better. Okay, so note that on the, here's the tent. Because note on the map where you see this, you see the arrow, it means that there's a quest for you, and then it tells you who has it, and obviously this is Geheiten, this is where we've been wanting to go. And this dude also has a quest for us, but we have to talk to Geheiten. Hi, Geheiten. Oi, Samutari, what are you doing here? If I find out you've been wasting time when there's work to be done, I'll show you the back of me hand. Level 2 progress. The Sprig Report. Greetings, Technus. I assume Vandar sent you. News to report, I hope. Well, are they dealing with the Sprig problem up there? Many Sprigs have been killed. Very good. Normally the Sprigs are just a nuisance, but it seems their nerve grows as their numbers do. They aren't exactly a challenge for Olgorn raiders like us, but that doesn't mean we can afford to ignore them. While you're here, I believe Vandar needs help with a job or two. Okay. So we finished that quest. Wait a minute, I have a job for you. Oh, never mind, I've forgotten it. Other raiders might crow about ending the Sprig menace, but you know what? We could be putting Sprig stupidity to work for us. Consider this. A farmer harvests 5 bags of grain one day. That evening, he stores them in his granary, but when he comes back to the granary the next morning, he finds it has all been stolen. What's your point? Bear with me, I'm getting there. Later, that second day, the farmer gathers another 5 sacks of grain. This time, he knows that his granary is not secure, so he takes the sacks into his house. Common sense, right? Sprigs don't have the common sense of a farmer. Even after we steal the food they gather, they store their baskets in exactly the same places. Bad for the Sprigs, sure, but great for us. I want you to go to the Sprig den and fetch me Sprig fruit. Do this and I will reward you well. Okay. You seemed like the sort with the common sense. Samutari, you aren't just another bloodthirsty raider. The Sprig dens can be found here and throughout the Adela Basin. You should have no trouble finding their dens, especially if you've been wandering around up here for a while. The food from about 3 baskets should be enough. We'll keep some for ourselves and put the rest towards the quota. Okay, Ion's love. Alright, so we basically have to go to the Sprig dens. I know that I found one up here, or like around here somewhere. And we have to go steal baskets of fruit. nothing very fascinating, and I think after I do this quest, I'll pretty much end it here. I've gathered some stuff, kind of showed you the basics, and we'll probably get more into this as time goes on, but honestly, there's not really much I can show you at this point. There's not really much to this game at this point, this early on. It doesn't start to get serious until you make it into the town. Here we go. Fruit basket. I'm going to steal from it. So there's one. Take all. Meeting the fruit quota. And there's two. Take all. The thing is you can only take one fruit from each basket if you haven't already figured it out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking one from each basket. Plus, these are non-aggressive creatures, so they don't really do anything. They don't sit there and protest that you're stealing their fruit. Let's see. There was the one behind the house, then we got the one over here, and now we just need a third one, but chances are, well, here it is. I was going to say, there's usually 3 per village, but usually if someone gets to the basket before you do, you can't use that basket, because like I said, there's usually only 1 fruit per, and yeah, so there's only 1 fruit per basket, and if someone gets to the basket before you do, then that counts as 1 fruit used, and then you have to wait for it to refresh itself. We could have also gone over here to this den to get fruit, if this one was too overpacked with new people trying to get fruit as well, but it seems like everybody's grinding down in the main area, so we're actually good today. I'm surprised. Hey Vanar, got your stuffs. Wait a minute, I have a job for you. Oh, never mind, I've forgotten it, blah blah blah. Oh, there you are. I was wondering what had happened to you. Let's see that fruit. There you go. Even if those sprigs are stupid, they certainly know the difference between good fruit and bad fruit. These look perfect. These are for you. I'll see that the rest of the food gets on the next caravan to the settled lands. Good work, Raven. Okay. Curse this darkness. I can't read or write orders when the darkness sets in, and we don't get much wood for the fires. I know. The darkness makes us stronger. I've heard it all as a youngster. Those arrogant Elios sure have it easy, though, bathing in sunlight and never struggling like me just to make out Olgorn's handwriting. I have a temporary solution, though. It's not the sun, but at least Gahaiten won't complain about me using all the firewood. What's your idea? Look around. Which creature in this environment catches your eye? Either the hill sparkle or the highland sparkle, right? It's their glowing tails. The insects use them to attract prey and mates, but I can make use of that natural luminescence too. Don't the tails go dark when they die? They don't go dark right away. In fact, their abdomens stay alight for several hours after you sever them from the thorax. But I'm sure the proper names of bug parts don't concern you, and I have a heap of paperwork in any case, Samatari. I need you to catch a hill sparkle or 2, as well as a few highland sparkles, and gather their glowing spears for me. I'll sort my paperwork and await your return. So basically we get to gather bug butts. Remember, you can only get glowing spears from hill sparkles or highland sparkles. I think 3 lights will suffice for the reports. I have to get filed. Please hurry. I'm behind schedule as it is. I'll get right to it. So we'll go ahead and do this quest, because it should be like the only other quest he has for us until he tells us to go to the next area. So we only have one other person. I was already killing that one, so hopefully she didn't get the idea to kill it first. Do you have it? Okay, glowing spear. Usually when there's not a lot of people around, killing things, not necessarily killing things, but gathering things are not really hard. Oh, Hill Sparkle, you're level 2. No wonder it took so long to kill you. Glowing Spear, so we only need 1 more. And obviously, whenever you're killing things, you obviously get a bunch of junk items too. It's obviously very common to get things like bug carapaces and etc., things that you literally cannot use. Alright, so you see how easy that was? We automatically got like 3 glowing spears. If this was the old Ion, you'd be out here for a good 10 minutes looking for glowing spears, because only like every 3rd or 5th bug would have dropped one. So, and if you're wondering, like, grinding here is a good way to pick up things that you can sell. Gold tends to come pretty easy once you start collecting it, but with this new system, I'm not sure how easy it comes. Good, you're back. These reports really should be up in the village already. Tobu's going to be furious. Show me the spheres you've gathered. Here's what I found. These are perfect. Thank you, Samutari. Finally, I can get those blaster reports finished, then maybe Tobu and Olgarn will let me do some real raiding. Okay? It's like I still have a few reports to get through, but I'm done with the urgent ones. They need to be delivered to Tobu, second in command of the Olgarn raiders. These reports are highly important. Samutari, Tobu, and Olgarn need to know that we're making progress on our quotas and that we're doing our job as raiders. More important to the point, without these reports, none of us get paid come caravan time. Who usually delivers the reports? Usually I deliver them myself, Technus, but I'm so very busy. Look, just take these up to Tobu, will you? I've included some of the fruits you collected as a gift for Tobu, so make sure you don't bruise them. These reports are a little late, so I'm hoping he'll consider the fruit my way of saying sorry. Can you deliver the reports? Yep, sure, not a problem. Go ahead and check that. It's like, good. You should find Tobu in the center of Adel village. He hardly ever leaves Olgarn's side, so if you see the boss, you'll probably see Tobu. Oh, and one last thing. Be sure to mention that I prepared the fruit. I'm tired of being on Tobu's bad side. I'll mention you. Okay. So, not sure what all... Whoa. Okay. So he ported me. How interesting. So he ported me, and we should actually be right next to the village, which is actually up this way. Usually they have you walk to the village, so I think it's kind of stupid that they ported you here because you're missing out on a lot of stuff. I will go ahead and go into the village before I end this episode, just because there is, I want to explain the checkpoints and etc. if my game will stop freezing. Unfortunately, we are coming upon a lot of places, a village that has a lot of things, which means I'll be lagging like crazy. But such is the nature of being here. Level 1 order of the captain. Okay, so you have to do all these. Okay, golden quests are basically quests that you need to do in order to progress in the story. They are campaign quests. So obviously if you want to progress and get anywhere new, you have to do the golden quests. Okay, the obelisk. Now, as it said, you can bind here by using the obelisk. Whenever you make it to a new town, you obviously want to bind to that area. Okay, if you've played World of Warcraft, you know what the Hearthstone is, right? And with a Hearthstone, you basically have to go into an inn of a town and register your Hearthstone there. If when you die, or if when you're in a bad situation, you want to teleport to the town, you just click on the Hearthstone and it takes you wherever you're registered. Well, the obelisks are the same thing. Basically, when you press return, it will bind you wherever you're bound. This button, returning, will send you there. So obviously, by binding ourselves to this obelisk, we will then every time be sent back to Adel village every time we use the return option. So this location, binding in this location costs 38, and it does cost you. And basically the higher ranked the place is, like the closer it is to like higher ranked things and etc., the more expensive it's going to be. So when you bind to places, sometimes it'll be 100 gold, sometimes it'll be 250 gold. But don't be discouraged, because like I said, money or gold in general comes pretty easy. So we have a bunch of freaking quests here. But I'm not going to take them yet because I still want to look around. I want to show you guys some other things. I'm still getting used to this this whole thing. Like, what does P do? Okay, that's what I was looking for. Obviously, P shows you your inventory. It shows me my armor, the current weapon I have equipped. And I think next time, whenever we come in here, we're going to gather all the quests. We're going to see if we can find anybody that's selling armor or etc. And we're going to kind of play around with that. But yeah, so this is Aion, and hopefully it'll come to be a very interesting playthrough. I just wanted to do this in lieu of the Halloween spirit. Just kind of wanted to try something different for a minute before I go into Guild Wars for the Halloween run. And plus I just want to see how people react to this playthrough, see if they like it, see if the game interests them at all, and kind of just wanted to put this game out there and say, hey, this is made by NCSoft. It is a really decent game, but you really got to get a feel for it. The mechanics can be a little odd at times, but it is truly free to play, truly free to download, so I mean, why the hell not, you know? But yeah, anyways, this has been Samutari playing Ion. Thank you for tuning in. This has been episode 1. Hopefully in episode 2 we'll start to pick things up a little bit. If you watch my Guild Force playthrough, you know it takes a little while for me to get warmed up to these things, and before we're in a fluid motion. Plus, this is still practically the tutorial, so we haven't really gotten anywhere big yet. The tutorial ends when you become ascended, and that doesn't happen until we're like past level 10. And since I grinded a little in the beginning, we'll probably be a little past level 10, but we'll just have to see. But go ahead and just hit like if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more, leave a comment letting me know your questions and suggestions about Ion. Also leave your player name if you want, and I will probably contact you on my main account. I do hope to show you my main account someday. I really would love to do that, but I can't log into it at the moment, which really makes me upset. And lastly, go ahead and subscribe to me if you feel the need to, or if you feel like you'd like to. I'm not going to force you to do anything. And last but not least, connect with me online and check out all the shenanigans I've been up to lately. Anyways, this has been Samutari out, and I will talk to you guys later. Alright, ciao you guys.